My name is Jérôme Castaing. I'm French. I went to INSEAD to do my MBA in 2002. I started my company with my wife in 2010. The company is called KellyDeli, and it is more known for its brand Sushi Daily across Europe. It's headquartered in the UK, and we founded it in 2010 by being the market makers in two ways. First, we introduced the concept of doing sushi live inside the supermarkets, not in the food court, which at the time was new. The sushi were made in factory, and we also introduced the concept of shop in shop, as at the time supermarkets would do everything themselves, bread, pizza, etc. And we convinced them that for sushi, they had to make an exception and bring in an expert to make sushi live in front of their customers in the supermarkets. I started my career in telecommunications in a big company in France and then in the US. After I worked for a startup company as an employee, which I love the experience. And after 5 years, I thought I wanted to go back to Europe. And when I left, I thought next time I work for a startup, it will be my own, because I like to do different things, to work on different topics. I like to do things myself, my way. And went back to Europe. I did my MBA. After, it was a crisis, so I ended up working for a large company again in telecommunications. And I got older, I got comfortable. I took a big loan for my apartment. I had a nice salary. And as time went by, my entrepreneurship dream was drifting away. And the older you are, the nicer the salary you have, the less you want to take risks to become an entrepreneur. I also met my wife, who was not employed at the time. So it was very difficult. But then one day I thought, if I don't do it, I will regret all my life not having tried to be an entrepreneur. And if I do it and it fails, well, it will be painful to try to go back into IT and telecom. And my career may take a hit, but I will not die. So I decided one day I will make the leap. And that's how when I was, I think, 42, I moved from IT to sushi. INSEAD, I guess, like many alumni, after 20 years or so, we don't remember so much the academics. We remember more the people we met. In terms of how INSEAD helped me for my entrepreneurial journey, it's a bit the same. Definitely OB helps, but I think it helps in any career. But also negotiation was very useful, especially in my context of working with retailers, negotiating all the time. And then ethics. I remember having to use some of lessons learned in ethics for building the company, creating a culture, and sometimes having some dilemma on how to handle certain situations. But most importantly, the network was very useful, and I felt that I used the network even more as an entrepreneur as opposed to an employee. For example, when we had to go and move into new countries very quickly, it was very nice to be able to call an alumni and ask advice on lawyers, accountants, banks, specificities of the countries. That's a good example. Another one is I didn't know anything about franchise, so I asked a friend from my promotion advice on how to set up a franchise system, and he told me to avoid it and not do it at all costs. But I did the opposite of what he told me. But the fact that I talked to him, he gave me some advice, and I was able to build it in my plan to avoid certain pitfalls. And I feel that when you call an INSEAD alumni, people are very kind. They give advice pro bono in a lot of kindness. And it feels that if you call an alumni from INSEAD, it feels like calling somebody from your promotion, even if they are not from your promotion. And now that I am on the other side, and I sometimes give advice to or coaching to other INSEAD entrepreneurs, I think sometimes it's just a few minutes every 3 months, but sharing anecdotes can help fellow alumni to build their own journey and use some of the lessons.